The connection came as a surprise to the detectives who were hunting the Comancheros. If police are to be believed, Maksimovic is a genuine Mr. Big of Australia's drug trade. Now, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family.
Sometimes reality bites.
When you think of reality TV star Luke Toki, you think of this.
I'm the boss.
You don't think of this. Toki was recently crowned the winner of Big Brother VIP. His win last month came 4 years after he won his first legion of fans in the 2017 season of Australian Survivor. He was a good-looking young bloke who knew how to deliver a nice line.
Yeah, like Survivor's, I guess, it's on your bucket list, you know? If it's not on your bucket list, do you even have a bucket list?
And he was very witty.
Running fresh water, yeah, wash off all those hard times, you know?
He forged a close bond with eventual winner Jackie Patterson, but couldn't take home the title. He was such a hit with fans, though, that 2 years later he was invited back on the show for Australian Survivor Champions versus Contenders.
I'm the people's champ, and I'm coming back to get my title, baby.
It was on Survivor 2019 that he really struck a chord with audiences, in part because he said he was on the show to win the $500,000 in prize money to help his kids, who had developmental issues. Toki didn't win the $500,000 that year, but it turned out he didn't need to, because his fans launched a GoFundMe campaign to help his family out. That fundraiser clocked up $550,000.
Nice. But there's another chapter to this story.
A Bikie chapter. Around the time Luke started filming Survivor All-Stars, or whatever it was called, he was raided by police, because he's good mates and business partners with this guy. Nikola Maksimovic is state commander of the Comanchero outlaw motorcycle gang. The Comancheros is one of the world's most feared organisations. When the gang went to war with the Hells Angels a few years ago, they turned Sydney Airport into a war zone. Maksimovic is next month facing court over the alleged importation of almost 60 kilograms of meth.
Right.
They were friends for a long time. Luke counted Maksimovic as a groomsman at his wedding, and Luke runs a trucking business with him. Luke is a one-third owner of a company called Sagano Holdings, which trades under the name Eclipse Transport and Plant Hire. The other two-thirds of Sagano Holdings is owned by a company called Safety Bay Solutions, which was owned by Nikola Maksimovic and is now under the name of Nick's partner, Ellie Sutherland.
Perth's a small place.
The connection came as a surprise to the detectives who were hunting the Comancheros. Luke chose to address this situation on Instagram, saying he has tried to do the right thing in his life. Now, there's no suggestion that Luke was involved with the alleged Comanchero meth racket, but the cops did raid his house and they found some stuff. In September 2019, that's just 3 months after Luke was on our screens doing this, he appeared in Rockingham Magistrates Court to face 2 charges: possessing a prohibited drug and possessing drug paraphernalia. He was fined $1,000 and hit with $500 costs. In May of last year, he was found guilty in Perth Magistrates Court of possessing a prohibited weapon.
He says it was a baton.
That he forgot that he had, and it was in his luggage as he went through airport security. And as for the dope,
I've sought help from a doctor now, and I deal with that separately. I always have high energy, as you probably already know, but I deal with that differently now.
What's the deal with Maksimovic?
if police are to be believed, Maksimovic is a genuine Mr. Big of Australia's drug trade. During a court appearance last year, police said they searched a shipping container that had arrived from Victoria by rail in May 2019. They allegedly found 56 kilos of drugs in 3 plastic containers which were allegedly driven to Belmont, where Maksimovic allegedly met a Victorian man who allegedly gave him a lot of money in exchange for the drugs. Allegedly. Maksimovic has pleaded not guilty to conspiring to sell or supply meth and laundering property and money from proceeds of a major offence. He's next in court on February 28.
Do you reckon some people who donated to Luke's crowdfunding campaign might have liked to know all that?
Would have liked to know they were giving money to a man who runs a trucking business with a Comanchero? Well, yeah, they probably would.
Oh, well, I'm going to need a refund. That's something you should have told me before.
Now, you can choose your friends, but you can't choose your family, although Luke probably would like to. There are 3 Toki brothers, and 2 of them, by all accounts, are complete loser thugs. Younger brother Jake is a one-time Rebel nominee who did a long stretch in jail. He's before the courts again after he was allegedly ejected from a pub he was banned from being in because of a separate assault charge laid earlier this year. Jake was found guilty of disorderly behaviour in public and also obstructing public offices. He's back in court on January 21 to face a charge of causing grievous bodily harm.
And Mitch?
Oh, Mitch makes Jake look like a choir boy. He has links to the Bandidos and is currently before the courts in Queensland. Police say a loaded Glock pistol and 20 grand in cash was found in a car from which Mitch fled after it was pulled over in Brisbane last month. Allegedly.
Okay, that's serious.
That's not the half of it. The alleged driver of the vehicle was this chap. Nelson Patea was on parole after being sentenced for manslaughter in 2018. He was part of a group that beat to death pool builder Greg Duffy in the Gold Coast hinterland in 2015. Nelson is the brother of convicted double murderer and bikie enforcer Lionel Patea, who used a fire hydrant to bludgeon to death his partner, model Tara Brown, back in 2015.
That's horrific.
It's not Mitch's first run-in with the law either. 4 years ago, he was spoken to by police in connection with a bikie shooting in Coolangatta, which the cops believe claimed the life of senior bandido Benjamin Thornton. Luke's come out and is now saying...
But all this other stuff, like my brother's offences, and even people that he knows, I don't know them.
Thornton was a key player in one of Queensland's most infamous bikie punch-ups, the Broadbeach Bikie Brawl of 2013. Turns out he didn't die in Coolangatta and is now facing drugs charges after allegedly being ensnared in this year's police Anom operation.
Police and the FBI monitored the underworld's conversations in real time.
How incestuous is the underworld?
It's more than you can imagine. Thornton's co-accused is Australian Ninja Warrior contestant Sophia Kong. Sophia was on the 2017 season of Ninja Warrior, which was on Channel 9, and was a rival to 10 Survivor, which brought Luke Toki into our lounge rooms 4 years before he appeared on Seven's Big Brother.
Okay, that's a weird coincidence.
But there's more.
Remember old mate Nick Maksimovic? One of Nick's Comanchero brothers is Ray Chili. Ray is currently in exile in Thailand because if he steps foot in Australia, the cops are going to do this to him.
Take him away, boys.
Because he's suspected of being deep in the international drug trade.
But there's still more.
Ray was allegedly on the hit list of the guy who killed Nick Martin. The man sitting next to Nick Martin when he was shot was Ricky Chapman.
But I know you want more.
And to bring everything full circle, Ricky Chapman was one of the bandidos who got his punch on with Ben Thornton at the Broadbeach Bikie Brawl on the Gold Coast. I'm Ben Harvey. For more update, click the subscribe button below.